it's Emma. A wonderful Facebook friend just posted a question about when I was talking about SSP spelling and how do we sort of explain the various parts of words and how we spell them. I love it when you post questions, especially when it's questions that, you know, might take a bit of taking apart or whatever, but are questions that everybody wants to know. The SSP approach is about keeping everything simple. So let me show you how I keep it really, really simple. Doesn't matter whether they're preppies, although if the preps start with SSP, how SSP is supposed to be taught, it's an approach and it's a whole child approach. It's about, you know, you use SSP throughout the whole day. It's not just the explicit part of your phonics teaching. If they start in prep, they won't have any reading and spelling difficulties. But if you've got an older child who is having spelling difficulties, let's keep it really simple. So the first thing they need to do if you've got to spell a word is say the word, count the speech sounds, and then draw the lines for the sound picks to sit on and then work them out. Sound picks are just pictures of speech sounds. So we're using really, really simple terminology. Okay, so if I had the word play, p or a, and I do like to put the 1, 2, 3 so that we can keep the segmenting. P or a, play. So get them to just do that. Don't worry about what sits on there. Just see how good they are at this. Train, ain. Ain. Major, age, age, okay. Now in all of these words you might have heard that there's actually a common speech sound. We've got play, p, or let's think they're not sure about the a sound there. Then we had train, t, a, n. Let's just leave that there. What about major? Age. Okay, so in all of these, you've actually got 3 different variations of the A speech sound. Now, if I was to go into my SSP starter kit, and here is the lovely wallet that I keep my clouds in. This is the whole of the English language, and when children know that, they feel a lot more comfortable, a lot safer, because it's all here. It's not this never-ending, you know, really difficult thing that people are you know, especially people that struggle with reading and spelling. They think it's vast, that it's just, you know, so I'm saying to them, here it is. This is the whole of the English language. So we've worked those out and we're just stuck on this A. So let's just have a look at the speech sound cloud for the A speech sound. Okay, so I'll flip through and here is the cloud for the A. So there are all of the options. And what we've got is we've got a song or a poem for every single speech sound in the English language, so that we're not just showing here are the various representations, we're showing it in meaningful context. Because to shape a reading and spelling brain, you must help the reading brain be able to look at all this gobbledygook and actually put it into meaningful context. You know, I talk about the difference between decoding and reading. Decoding is being able to go, ouch. Reading is being able to go to say that in your mind or whatever, but to blend it into the word and know what that word is, or to know what most of the words mean. So we've got coach jumped in vain when they lost the game. They're bottom of the baseball table. But if it stays sunny, if it doesn't rain, I wonder if they will be able to play a great game and get lots of runs. It would seem like a story, a fable, straight out of a book, as if granted a wish. I think we need baseball star Mabel. So they're not the best of poems, but what I'm doing is basically writing a poem or a song that's got every variation, so it's not quite as easy as it looks. But, you know, and I couldn't fit in the EI, so I put, he jumped so hard he could have burst a vein. So I'm keeping it all in context with what we're talking about. There's Mabel, who is obviously a caterpillar. Mabel needs to score 80 runs in the next game. So again, they can explore all of those and you can carry it on. So when we've got our play, train, major, what I can do is I can say, well, which ones do you think it might be? Now I might say to them, right, I tell you what, it's going to be this one, or this one. So they might try 3 different variations. So I might have said to them, on this one, it's going to be this one, or it's going to be this one, or it's going to be this one. So they might go play, and they might try it. Now, a lot of children who've been using SSP, because we bring it together, would say, well, that doesn't look right, and you might actually write it out so that it's next to each other, so it looks a little bit more like we look at it in books. Play, and we'll say, no, that doesn't look right. Okay, well, we know it's not that one. Okay, let's try this one then. Play. And then they might write that out. Play. Nope, still doesn't look right. Okay, well, let's try this one then. Play. And they might say, oh yes, that looks right. Now, even if they can't, even if they say, I don't know, I can't see, because if you haven't got them reading, if, you know, this is the spelling, but if you haven't been doing a lot of the reading, when you get children to read early, even though they might have awful spelling, if they can read, they can usually tell you whether it's right or not. So that's why I want them reading as early as possible, because their brains can link, even though they might not spell it easily, their brains will be able to look and say, oh yes, that's the word play. And so they can self-correct. So that by using this strategy, they can see what looks right or not. Now let's say that even if they can't, or even if they have got to that, then get them to write play, but this time they go P-U-L-A, P-U-L-A, P-U-L-A. So their brain is going along and saying that and seeing it at the same time, so it cements it. Do it sort of 5 or 7 times. So the same again when we get to train, they might try them and then find that one, say, yes, that looks right. So the same on major, they might go major, and they might think that looks right. Or they might try major. They're more likely to say, no, that looks wrong. And then this one, major. But again, you tell them the right one, or they look in the dictionary. I would give it to them. And then they'd write it out, major. Major. And this is also why I want them writing quickly, which is why I want them actually doing cursive as soon as possible, so that they can do it at the same time as they're saying it. But let's keep it really simple. These are really helpful for them to use it in meaningful context. Now what I would also do is put this into a meaningful sentence. So it's all very well spelling play, supposing they don't know what play means. So put it in sentence. I play with my mum, whatever. The train was red. I had a major fit at the teacher because she gave me hard work, whatever. Put it in a meaningful context, then you might get them to write it, or you might get them to tell you it orally and then you write it down. But also get things that are meaningful to them. I don't see this enough. It needs to be so that children don't even know you're doing a lesson. I want them looking at environmental print. I want them looking at everything they use in their lives. Supposing they're, sorry mum, my mum doesn't like me drinking Pepsi Max. They might drink Pepsi. In which case, what a good way. They know this is Pepsi Max. So supposing when I'm listening for the X sound, I would say, what do you know about this? Oh, well, it's Pepsi Max. Okay, well, let's write it. Pepsi. So where's the S sound? Where's the picture for E in there? Oh, it's there. Where's the picture for X in Max? Oh, it's there. So get them to do it in things that mean something to them. They might have brought in these horrible things. Noodle snack. Now, it's much better if it's lowercase, but not to worry. But noodle snack. So supposing I'm doing the oo sound, how much better is it if the children start to look at this? Because then when they come in after playtime or whatever and they've got their snack, they go, look, I found the oo. And they can even write on it, which they love. Look, there's the oo. There's a picture for oo. And then we might look at it in the clouds and look for oo. There's a. Ooh, where's ooh? Ooh. There's were. There's x. So look, there's x. So when we've done the box and we've looked at the, oh no, so it's Pepsi Max, and then we look at there's the x, and there's another x. Look, please accept this present. The box has a surprise. If you wait a minute, then you won't believe your eyes. Well, let's find ooh. Come on, Mr. Ooh, where have you gone? Ooh, I just saw it. Cuckoo, cuckoo. Yeah, so we've looked at the ooh, and then we looked at noodle, ooh. Oh, I haven't got the cloud on there. I haven't got the cloud on there. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to add the cloud on there. I know I've got it there because I've got ooh, so the children can go ooh. But the ooh would go in there. So they've got the noodle and they would come in and they would show me their noodle snack and we would look for it and they'd find, there it is. And they are engaged in their learning and they're actually leading their learning so that they're helping their brain develop into a reading and spelling brain. And it's so much easier to teach it that way. You know, just have a couple of minutes every day when anything you've got that you get out, you know, you just might say to the child, quick, this is monster noodle snack. Where's the Where's the in monster? And then you might listen for it. st, So where's the What's left? St, Oh, it's this one. So that must be a picture for And then we're looking here for the pictures for and the clouds. Bring it all together, make it meaningful. We don't need to explain anything about the root of, where it's come from and the parts of the words and whatever else. We don't. We just have to have speech, because that's what's familiar to the children. And then the sound pics, they're just pictures of their speech sounds and linking it in with things that they know and that are meaningful to them and within meaningful context. So it brings it together, and it's not just phonics in isolation and, just teaching phonemes in isolation, whatever. So you go to the fridge, you bring out the orange juice and say, quick, look at this. Juice. Where's the picture for oo there? Where's the picture for s there? Juice. We can hear 3 sounds. Juice. And there they are. They're there. So you don't have to teach it from, you can teach it just from things that are there and working out the speech sound to sound-pic link. Even if the child is still on the green level, you're still showing them. It doesn't mean they're going to remember that there. But actually, if you show it in meaningful context on something that means something for the child, every time they then see that orange juice, they'll think, oh, juice, because you've pointed it out. So environmental print, make it meaningful, is just the the easiest way to teach children to read and spell. It really is. Now, supposing you've got older students, imagine it as, supposing they've had an accident and they've got to learn to walk again. Even though they're 10 or 11 or whatever, and they've previously walked, we wouldn't say, right, here you go, now start running. What we'd do is we'd say, do you know what? It's unfortunate that we're going to have to start from the beginning, but we're going to have to build you up. We're going to have to build up those muscles and your brain and what have you, so that you can start to walk again. And that's exactly how I see it. If you've got a child who's really struggling, then as much as you do what I've just shown you with the speech sound detective and linking the speech sounds and whatever, but on the explicit part, you must go back again. Because when they've been on the green level, because they haven't had the green level, let's say, which is on the green level, this is our focus. But these are just sound pics. This is just one part, recognising these is just one part. So they're the sound pics that we start off with. But the reason that we use these is because this is what we want children to have. We want them to be able to listen to the speech sounds, identify if speech sounds are at the beginning, middle or end of the word. We want them to link them with sound pics, identify sound pics, blend the sound pics into words, that's orally and in print, segment sound pics, form sound pics, that's letter formation, to be able to write the SSP words, create sentences. We introduce them to the helpful words, and we introduce them to visualization and articulation. So this is they're just ways that we're going to introduce this. So we need children to have those skills. So if you've got a child that's an 11-year-old or whatever, that is really poor with their reading and spelling, take them right back to the green level. So we want to make sure that if you say to them, can you spell me with speech sounds? And a lot of it is learning the terminology again. So can you spell sat? So we're not going to get them to do letters at all. It's just sat, at with the lines. I tend to do 1, 2, 3s, but at, tin, in, spin, sp, itten. And if they go sp, itten, that's the time when you get out the explanation about how we count speech sounds. Sp. That's not one sound pic, because s and p are just blended together. This is a sound pic because when we put those together, it's a completely different speech sound. But here it's not. So if it's spin, it's going to be sp, itten. Pants, p, a, n, t, s. So first of all, see how they get on with that. Can they easily and quickly do the lines as they say the sounds for green level words, which are all made up of these? Any variation of these. So just with these, give the words, like pin. What's the first sound? What's the last sound? Can we blend them into the word? If you say to them, what's this word? S, p, I, n. See if they can hear this, it's spin. What's this word? T, I, n, what have you. So you want to check all of these skills just with sat pin. And if they're brilliant at that, then move them onto the purple level. And again, when you go onto the purple level, we're going to have the skills. So go through the skills and think, have they got these skills? And if not, then we stay here until we've got these skills. Purple level. So those sound picks for the purple level, they're just ways of teaching the code, but the most important thing is the skills to use it. So use these. So you might point to them, to some sound picks and get them to track it with their eyes and tell you what the word is. You might go, what's this word? And see if they know it's gentle. Or you might say to them, can you show me the sound picks for fluff? I suppose, and they went, that's when you would go, oh, okay, let's just have a look. Fluff, or that's what they've chosen. And then you say, actually, it's a different f, and that's when you get the cloud out. So even from the purple level, that's when you get the clouds out, look at them and see, and that's when you might write it correctly and then say it's actually this one. So which is the sound pick for the last one? F or When they've gone through, and these are all the posters for those, so that's the yellow level. So when they've got to the yellow level, these are the ones that they have met and are meeting in the yellow level. So again, do the same. Point to the sound picks and ask them to what word it is. Say a word, can they point to them? But when we've got all the way through to to blue, that means they've learnt at least 70 of the most commonly used variations for representing our speech sounds. But because you're also using the clouds at the same time, then you can actually introduce a lot more. But you just have to go back, and they have to have systematic SSP right from the beginning, and it's short, sharp, and intensive. So that they can wire the brains for reading and spelling. The majority of children who struggle with their spelling, it's purely and simply based on phonemic awareness difficulties. So when you're saying train and asking them to do the lines, train, they find that difficult to do. And they're so used to T and whatever, because they're trying desperately to remember the print. We don't want to do that. Forget the print for now. All we want to do is listen for the words, say the word, and work out the lines. So if there's only one thing I want you to do with any students you've got that are struggling at the moment, is just give them some words first of all, just random words, and just see how they do that. If they really struggle, go back to the green level and start doing it with green level sound picks and words that are made up of those sound picks. If that's too easy, go to purple level and start introducing them and find the space where they are, and that's where you carry on. But this is the most important part for spelling. The representations are something that are a lot easier to teach once they've got this bit. So older students who are using SSP, you might see in their writing, they might go the, and they might not be sure. So they might go green, the green, og. So you might find that, excuse me, the older students that are using SSP, you find all these little lines underneath, and that's because what they've done is the lines before they've done the word, especially a long one. And if you, so even an older student, let's say they've got to spell the word constantly, and they're not sure, then how they would organise it, because a lot of this is organising, especially for a dyslexic brain or whatever, who wants that organisation. You might do constantly, okay, constantly. But then in here, you're doing or E. Constantly. Okay, what are the sound picks? Or E, let's say. So obviously I've spelled that incorrectly, but I want to show you this is what children would do. So they constantly, so they do the bits that they do the bits that they would try. And then they might say to me, does this look right? And I might say, yep, brilliant. Yes, 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 yes. Just have a look at that one. Yes, yes, yes. Have a look at that one. So instead of telling them the whole word's wrong, I'll just say which sound picks need changing. I might give them the word and say, here's the word. This is, I call it the king word, because the king is a prop that we use for he's all knowing and whatever, and he also helps us with accents and things like that. But so I would say, well, here, this is how the king would spell it. So you just check which of the sound picks you need to change, and they'll go through the word again with the speech sounds to speech sound pick links to change them, or they might get the clouds out, depends on how much time you've got and the student you've got. But But you'll find with this approach, they get more right than they get not right yet. Don't like the word wrong. It's just another way of trying before we get it right. But you can see this is why we've got the logo as it is, because it's the speech, hearing the speech correctly to then work out the sound picks. That's the important part. Don't start with the sound picks or the print and try and do it the other way, that way around, because you'll be teaching forever. It just can't work. And just whilst I've got the video out, this rap, people might think it's really easy because it's green level sound picks. It's not. I want you to say that really quickly and see what happens. Sat, pat, tan, pan, tin, pin, ants, nan, pan, nip, sip, tip, pit. See, I got it wrong already. Because what my brain does, because I'm a reader, is my brain wants to look ahead. So even before reading that word, I'm looking ahead. But if I haven't quite got it right, I'm going to lose it. And that's why I want you to see there are so many different things that are involved in reading. But for a child to be able to say those because they're out of context, it's not a meaningful sentence. Like they'll remember, Pat has lots of ants in his pants, because that's a sentence that makes sense. Here, they're just random words, but they've got to look at the smaller parts to be able to know if that's sat or sit or whatever. So that really helps with their decoding. But it just really helps the brain. There's a lot of things I do in with this, other than left to right, going back to the start. That's why I've got that little star there to show where to go back to. But this is not as easy as it looks. This is not an easy activity. So you try it. You see how fast you can do it, and ask your child to do it as well. There are a lot of things, and make sure that the child points to the words if they want to help them track. You know, you can do all sorts of things with this. For example, this one, they know this is for sip, sip. So you might just point to one of these and they've got to find it on here. So sip, they've got to find it, and it helps them see the parts. It really helps with their decoding. The most important skills are within that green and that purple level for SSP. So don't rush through just because they know they can look at that and go s, or they can go at, sat. That's not enough. We need them to do it fast, and we need them to understand all the skills. So this is tin. Tin, what sounds can you hear? T, it and tin, right? The last, so I might say to them, the word for this, the last sound, I want you to find a word in here that's got the same last sound. So then they've got to think, okay, last sound, t, in, tin. Last sound is n, okay, n. So all those skills that are going on there. Tan, find me a word that begins with t, that isn't tan. Tap. So many things you can do.